Without going into a lot of details, I just wanted to thank Councilman Jonai for your continuing commitment to save the trees at Pelham Parkway. And I also very much want to thank Commissioner McFarland for the measures you've taken to preserve these trees. It's really been so much appreciated by Joe, myself, and the Pelham Parkway Preservation Alliance.
Oh, take your time.
Very different from how the project started, it's evolved. And certainly Franco and Ahmed and Thomas and Bill, the arborist, have been great. Ralph, Robert, everybody. And so we appreciate all that. And measures that Thomas alluded to, other things. You might have received a letter from me recently. Certain steps to further mitigate and preserve trees. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, the meeting's over.
Debbie Colick, regarding the sewers on the main trail.
Actually, that was answered. I decided.
Two things. Is there any oversight on the traffic agents? Because I can tell you, those traffic agents, most of the time they're standing on the side of the road, or they're at the property of where I work and they're sitting on the bench and they should be outside directing traffic. That's number one. And number two, is there anywhere that they could put signage for tractor trailers that when the service road is closed, for them to find some other way to detour, because that turn over there is impossible for a tractor trailer to do
At Stillwell.
at Stillwell.
Tractor trailers.
Tractor trailers normally at at the main traffic light, they turn on to the little Stillwell,
Come around.
and then they go up the service road.
Right.
But when the service road is closed, they gotta go down Stillwell and then try to come around to Astor, which is impossible.
Right,
And I've seen it
okay. Now, tractor trailers, are they
They-
technically allowed to go?
on the service road.
Okay.
So,
They're not allowed on the park.
right,
Right.
so they're delivering to the supermarkets in the area,
Mhm.
to Rite Aid, all of that stuff.
To allow them to maneuver Stillwell, you're saying signage to keep them from coming, even getting there? like
Right,
to-
my suggestion would be to put some, what do you call the light up signs on the I-95 and have them come down Gun Hill Road to come down Astor, instead of trying to make all those crazy turns to try to get on Astor.
Yeah, okay, with respect to signage, us putting signage on I-95 is a state road, so we may not, that's probably not gonna be
It has to be
possible.
coordinated with New York State DOT, to add the lead line on off the highway.
Because they come off the highway,
No, I know
they
exactly.
go,
what you mean.
right, and then they're like, okay, now what do we do?
Now,
And
yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say about that. Unfortunately, when traffic, when this happens, everybody gets off their trucks. I understand they're concerned about trucks in particular, but say everybody.
I mean, if they temporarily leave that and let them go on the main road, but to go to Williamsburg Road, to go to East Chester, it's not, yes, Pelham Parkway is a parkway, but unlike the Hutch, there's no height issue.
All right.
She's okay. Sorry. She's all right.
There's no height issue
Right.
until you get to the trestle. And
I'm not really sure how we could address
Take your time.
alerting trucks before they get to the location. I'm not 100% sure.
It has to come through New York State DOT, but we have no authority to do anything around the area.
but what about allowing them maybe on the main road?
Allowing trucks onto the main road, then that would be.
That's valid, that's a valid.
No, it's just for that one block.
Parkway.
They're talking about that one block.
So this is a larger conversation to have offline, but it's a good
But
point.
also the oversight of the traffic agents.
Okay,
everything.
so with
We'll have to
respect,
coordinate
with
with
respect
the
to the traffic
proper
agent, yeah,
agencies.
yeah, okay. So with respect to the traffic agents, we put in the request for them. There is a supervisor that comes with them, that places them and oversees them. our staff doesn't, I mean, the most that we do is ask them, could you please place agents here? But we are not,
We have no direct
we don't have any real authority over them.
over the-
Just standing on the curb on the side.
Now, what I would
Like
say,
this.
what I would say is this, in terms of how they do the work, in terms of, and I've watched this, in terms of how they do the work, they'll work in tandem and they'll work in shifts. So there'll be one in the roadway or two in the roadway, and you'll see another one off to the side. It's their time, they've been in the roadway, it's their time to take a break, they got rotated out. So you may see somebody who may have been rotated out, and the other folks are in the roadway.
On my school's private property, sitting on the bench right outside my classroom, as close as he
How
is to me. As close as he is to me. He's in my parking lot.
Okay, and I'm not trying to cast doubt on what you're saying.
Outside my window,
Are
He's
you
that close to me.
sure it's a traffic agent
He's
associated
got
with
the
our
vest.
project?
yes.
Because I see traffic agents that walk through the neighborhood that are assigned to doing tickets, and then there are our
I'm
traffic
at
agents.
1770 Stillwell. There's no other reason for the traffic agent to be there other than the construction.
Okay, I guess it's something, a dialogue that we could have with them and ask them, I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Reach
that. I
out
don't
to the
think.
supervisor.
Yeah, I mean, we could do
We
that.
don't have no direct authority over them, but we
But
can
we
reach
could-
out to the.
we could still- we can-
supervisor.
Because from my classroom, I've taken pictures, them sitting there.
And we can
They
reference.
don't take, they might be on their break or whatnot. They're sitting there an hour and a half.
We can reference what you're saying, and if you wanna send me the picture,
That could be the
you
supervisor.
can do that. Okay.
Okay, we got Joe Mente has a roadway question, followed by Raphael Schweitzer.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for all your help with the tree mitigation. We appreciate it. Appreciate the communication. I saw Thomas at my house. He was I said, "Hey, what are you doing at my door?" He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I had to put my gun away. But it was good. But anyway, thank you. I had a question. Could you pull up the slide where you had the manifold on Williamsbridge Road? I just had a couple of roadway questions, but that one's kind of a parkway. Yeah, so I can see that's almost level with the road. So when that gets covered over, what, is that gonna be fairly close to the surface?
Well, this is in the South Mall.
Right,
So it's not there.
right. No, I'm aware of that. So what I'm saying, when it gets covered over, you're not gonna have that much depth down, so what is it, just get seated?
No, we
Just
put,
dirt and
what's
seed?
called here in place, we put, actually see the concrete walls.
Right.
And the steel plates sit on them to protect.
But it will look like parkland when it's done?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll look like
no,
the grass and everything like
You're gonna
that?
have topsoil and grass. and-
Yeah, okay, I'm just curious, because it's kind of high up. I didn't know if it was gonna
Yeah.
kind of be like
Yeah,
that.
there are no trees there, so we can build, we can grade it to
Okay,
have a proper cover.
right,
And we put topsoil, it's gonna be ended, at the end of the project, we're gonna put seeds and
okay.
make it look like the rest of the project.
All right, and then also where Councilman was talking about back on Esplanade Avenue and that apexing, that corner, if you could just show that corner, if you have the picture of it.
I'm going the wrong way, sorry.
Yeah, so that, as we all know, that area here gets flooded with a lot of water, so you said that this area here is gonna be, what's gonna be apex, so I'm assuming water's gonna go east and west, right? So will there be accommodations of catch basins in this
Yes.
area, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the crown, the high point will be in the middle of the intersection,
Okay,
pointing
East to
towards
west.
the
Yeah.
quadrants.
okay,
yes. And there will be catch basins there to receive the runoff.
okay, and then that bullnose that you mentioned is gonna be moved out so you can make the turn?
Right, with that sign,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be
Okay.
pulled out of there, so we
Okay.
can do what we have to do
Thank you.
there. Okay, thank you.
I have three sets of questions. First is, for the construction that's going on now, thank you for your communications and, on the ground, help. But a lot of construction that's going on is not safe for pedestrians. And White Plains Road and Pelham Parkway was addressed, but it went on for too long, before I had to email 10 people and do 2 on-site visits before it was made safe for pedestrians. It was unacceptable, and we're lucky that someone did not get killed or seriously injured. So, similar situation is going on now at Williamsbridge Road and Pelham Parkway. On Williamsbridge Road, between Pelham Parkway Main Road and Pelham Parkway Service Road, sorry, to cell phone. You cross and you see a bunch of orange barriers. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? So I get fed up. I'm just saying, I get fed up and I start moving equipment. But I know it's not supposed to do that. But there are no arrows. There's no arrows directing pedestrians where they gotta go. Do they have to go towards where the 12 bus stop is? Do they gotta go all the way to the corner? Like, it's really crazy. The same thing with Eastchester Road. You have to walk 25, 30, 40 feet out of the way, and you're going into traffic. If I was in a wheelchair, if I had a baby stroller, if I had a walker, that's dangerous. So, if there's gonna be construction where a intersection is closed for pedestrians to enter, under the traffic light, there gotta be arrows. Same thing at Wallace Avenue and Pelham Parkway Main Road. Not as long of a distance to walk, but you see it just says crosswalk closed. Like, what am I supposed to do? I get frustrated, and then I see, oh, there's an opening 20 feet over, but there's no arrows. To me, it's lazy. You can't put one arrow, directing people where to walk. To me, it's like the pedestrians don't matter. It's like we're invisible, it's just people who walk. They can walk another 2 blocks out of the way. So,
Yes.
sorry.
No problem. So, to answer your question, and we've discussed this, I understand your point. The way that and I also understand your point about the signs that are placed on the construction barriers. That say sidewalk closed, use other side. Not necessarily an arrow there, but they're telling you, basically the sign is telling you to not cross where all this danger is. Go to the other side. So, I'll tell you, and I'm not being funny, I'm being serious. Because I've seen this, I've watched a lot of construction, and I've seen crosswalks be marked like overkill in terms of how they've been, the signage and how it's blocked off, and people will still walk around or still go the way that it's convenient. And I totally understand your point, and what we talked about at White Plains Road is that the idea is that you're supposed to go away from the construction. You're supposed to go, even if it's 20, 30, 40 feet out of the way, with your stroller, especially if you have a stroller, or if you're in a wheelchair, or if you're infirmed in any way. Why would you walk through this? Even though it's a little inconvenient, I would walk 20 feet out of the way to not get struck by a car, to not get struck by machinery. If it's 50 feet, I would walk 50 feet out of the way. I couldn't imagine walking towards a construction boom and saying, this is the way I want to go. So I understand what you're saying, but there's got to be kind of a give and take with respect to the fact that, listen, we are doing construction in your neighborhood. There are plenty of alternate ways to travel through the area. And I would just suggest, and I understand what you're saying about the signage, and we can certainly address that with the contractor, but it's certainly not recommended that you try and maintain the way. Listen, you walk this way every day to work for the last 5 years. I gotta tell you, for the next year, you're gonna have to walk a different way. It's just the way that it is, I'm sorry.
All right, another example at Eastchester Road, because I'm frustrated